If you are using Webflow's built-in spam protection for your website's forms and you're still getting 10, 20, 30, God forbid, even 50 spam form submissions per day, you are not alone. Not one, but two of my clients were recently dealing with this exact issue. And even though we had Google reCAPTCHA set up with the forms and we were using the built-in bot and spam protection inside the Webflow dashboard, still, somehow, some way, they were getting an unbelievable amount of spam form submissions. While it did take some trial and error, finally I have found a solution which seems to have completely reduced the spam for good. And in this video, I want to walk you through the exact tools and process I used to fix this spam form issue. So this way, if you're dealing with the same issue with one of your clients, you have a solution ready to go. So now we're going to be getting into the different tools and integrations I set up to make this work. Now, quick disclaimer, this is not going to be a complete step-by-step tutorial. That's not really my style. There are other videos on YouTube going over how to do that, and they're probably better qualified, quite honestly, to give you that advice. I am just going to walk you through what the general steps and process is, as well as the tools I use to get this done. And then from there, I am confident you can figure it out for yourself. So there were a couple of different tools I could have used here, but at the end of the day, I decided to go with this tool called Formspark for a variety of different reasons. Number one, it integrates natively with Webflow's forms, which I think is key because that way you can keep the existing Webflow form and have the style of it match your website. I feel like nothing cheapens the look of a website when you have a very beautiful design, but then it's like a HubSpot form embed with the generic styling. Just doesn't look good in my opinion. So that was a huge plus and one of the reasons why I was drawn to Formspark, as you can see some information here. Another thing is that the email form submissions that the client receives in their email inbox actually does look nicer than the stock Webflow form notifications, which are just plain text. This actually gives the client a nice rich text email. So I did like that. There are also customization options, as you can see here. So that was helpful. And then also it integrates with multiple different spam protection services, as you can see here. We'll get into which one I was using in a second. And then lastly, the pricing was also very reasonable. So there's no subscription. There were a couple other options I looked at, which were all subscription based, but this was very reasonable. So for 50,000 form submissions, you only need to pay $25 for that. So that $25 should last you years, basically. So for those reasons, that is why I ultimately went with Formspark. So let's actually load the dashboard here, and I'll show you. This is one of the clients I was doing this for. These are the past form submissions you can see here. So you can see like the names don't make sense, the email addresses are kind of sketchy, and then the messages are just like ridiculous, quite frankly. Side note, if anyone knows why these like spam farms or whatever run these spam operations where they're just submitting forms in mass with just like junk information, please explain to me. I asked ChatGPT. It gave me a couple decent reasons, but quite honestly, I just feel like it wastes everybody's time involved, so I just don't see the point, but I would love to actually get to the bottom of it. Main things here. So as you can see, these are the ridiculous form submissions here, but I'm recording this on July 30th, and you can see we haven't had a spam form submission for quite some time. And then note for this client here, you can see that we actually don't even link the main contact page on the main nav here. So that was just proof positive that basically all these form submissions were spam in this case. So how do you set this up? So once you log into the Formspark dashboard, this is the actual specific contact form. You can see I'm using this for a couple of different clients at this point. It's actually very simple. So once you create a new form, all you need to do is take in this little action attribute code, and then you're going to need to submit it or paste it in right here. And then you're going to want to change the method to post. Not sure why. This is why I'm not doing a full tutorial. I just know you're supposed to change that. And then you need to make sure all your elements have this name attribute. So basically what that means is you need to go into the actual form item here, and then you need to make sure that it has an actual ID here. The ID does not matter in this case. And that's basically it. So those are the settings here. You also have this option if you wanted to just use like HTML. But again, what I liked about it is that you have the option to integrate this with all these different form or website builder services. So in my case, Webflow, obviously, so that's the one I use, but basically this will cover you no matter what you need. Then you just need to select which form service you want to use here. So I was using Google reCAPTCHA v2 because that's just what comes standard with Webflow, and it was doing basically nothing. Then I switched to Bot Poison first because that was one of the tutorials I had watched, and that seemed like the easiest, most straightforward option to set up. And I was running that for a while, but quite frankly, like it just wasn't stopping all the spam submissions. There were still plenty that were getting through. So then I went to the Turnstile option, which is basically the Cloudflare version of Google reCAPTCHA. And this is ultimately what ended up finally fixing these services. You can also put in these custom spam words as I did here. These were the types of phrases we were getting on the form submissions. Since then, I have gone back and deleted all the other spam form submissions. Trust me when I tell you, there were literally at one point probably hundreds, and it was not making me look good, let's put it that way. So, and then you can also integrate it with Zapier if you need. So obviously that is very helpful should you look to integrate it with that. So that's basically the setup. And then once you go into Turnstile here, you need a Cloudflare account. I actually use Cloudflare for all my different domains, so I already have a account set up. You have a couple different widget modes here. So the one thing I liked about it is with Turnstile, you can set it up where it doesn't even have a widget necessarily. But in my case, we were still getting spam form submissions even with these two invisible and managed options. So unfortunately, for better or for worse, the spammers ruined it for everyone, and now there's always going to be a widget on the contact form. So for example, if you look here, you're going to have this little Cloudflare item, and then it sees that I'm a regular human being, so I already passed the test basically. So back to Turnstile, it's very simple. You just select that. Then it gives you a site key. I will probably have to switch that out right after I make this video. And then it gives you a secret API key. And then all you need to do is go back into Webflow, and you just need to add in a script. In this case, I named it Formspark embed. And then this is the code it gives you right after. And then last thing to note here is that because we are redirecting to a custom thank you page or confirmation page in this case, and we're doing the same for some other forms I had set up on this client for some lead magnet landing pages, I used Claude AI to basically just explain all this, and then it wrote up this code for me because the Turnstile code, I believe, just gives you this script, but I needed to add this little input field here. It used to be a bit more complicated. I since have simplified it, so that was why Claude was needed. But basically, this allows you to have the custom redirect set up, which is very helpful because out of the box, it'll just have like a very generic Formspark looking page. But this was helpful because, especially for the two lead magnet landing pages we have set up, we are running ads to those via Google Ads. And because of that, we need the conversion tracking to work. So that is something you definitely don't want to overlook. You definitely want to use some sort of AI LLM if you need to update the code for whatever sort of tracking purposes you need. But like I said, this was not meant to be a full tutorial. I just wanted to show you what this looks like in practice. So Formspark, I would recommend. As you can see, it's very cheap, very affordable, integrates with a bunch of different services. This is not at all sponsored. I have no contacts at this company. This is just a tool I'm using, and it finally fixed all of our spam issues. So I just wanted to spread the word in case anyone else is dealing with a similar issue. All right, guys, so that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that once you implement this solution, whether you go with a variety of different built-in spam form protections within Formspark, hopefully you're able to solve this issue for good for your clients, because trust me when I say I know how frustrating it can be, and I understand how embarrassing it can be on your part when you're trying to do a good job for your clients and this is making you look very unprofessional. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a comment and I will get back to you when you can. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, because not only am I putting out content like this, but I'm also trying to put out more vlog style content, giving you a behind the scenes look at my client work and what it's like to run a modern marketing consultancy. Finally, if you are looking for Webflow help, whether you are a company looking to build or redesign an existing website, or you just need hourly web development work in Webflow done on an ad hoc basis, definitely feel free to get in touch with me. In the description of this video, there's going to be an interactive video form. It's very short and sweet. It's about 5 or so questions and only take a few minutes to fill out, but it will provide me with all the information I need about your project. And if you are a good fit, you will be automatically invited to book a consultation with myself where we can get to know each other, and based on everything you tell me, I will help you outline a web development and marketing roadmap to help you with your company's marketing and sales goals. So link in the description for that form. Otherwise, like I said, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.